Hey, Star Wars action figure collectors, this is Darth Phoenix 619 coming at you with another video, and this time I have a response video to either the comic figure blog or JCCC2224. I think I may have added an extra C there, Andrew and Adam. And they recently tagged me. One of them did. I think it may have been the comic figure blog, but like I said, I can't remember. And they did a video in regards to tips for beginning action figure collectors. And they wanted to kind of get the community involved, get some people out there giving their tips in regards to how to begin to collect action figures. And I'm going to throw my 2 cents in, though some of these tips are very similar to what they have shown. I know other people have done a response to this video as well. And I will be tagging people. I will actually tag people at the end of this video, and it would be great to see some more videos being made by people in the community in regards to their tips. So, a little background, though most of you who watch my channel know, when I started collecting, I officially started collecting when I was a kid. Back when I was about 8 or 9, I collected Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I remember working every weekend, cutting lawns with my dad, earning every little dollar I get, every dollar that I got just to buy action figures. And I stuck pretty much to the 3 3/4 inch figures. I did buy some vehicles and some other things, and that's all I really bought was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There were other lines that I dabbled in once in a while, but that's the line that I focused on. And then I got into comic books when I was a teenager, comic book cards. Then I got into collecting music, CDs, DVDs, pretty much high school, college. And then, of course, about, it's been 5 years now, I started collecting action figures. So I'm going to kind of give my advice on what I think you should do if you're really interested. So the first thing is, like most people mentioned, is you really want to, and then of course I have the Encounter on Jakku Lego set in front of you that I'll mess with, and hopefully I can concentrate on what I'm saying and mess with this at the same time. Great set, by the way. Of course, I got a little diorama here setting up one of the early scenes in the film when Tito has BB-8 captured, and there's Rey. But anyway, so I'll be messing with this, hopefully not distracting myself or others as you watch this vid. So, first tip is definitely know what you want to collect before you start collecting. A lot of people tend to focus on certain lines. I've really just decided to stick with Star Wars for the most part. But like I said, some people collect many different properties. But I think having a focus is a good thing. And I collect Star Wars Lego, which is not necessarily action figures, but you know, you do have the minifigures. And then I collect 3 3/4 inch and 6 inch Black Series. The 6 inch Black Series, and I've been collecting various lines of the 3 3/4 inch since 2005. Since I like modern figures, I've focused my collecting on pretty much 2004 up to today in regards to action figures, and that's just me. I'm not a big fan of any older stuff, any of the 90s stuff, and that's really helped me kind of focus my interests. And I do collect Marvel Universe 3 3/4 inch. And I also collect DC Lego, and I collect the Pacific Rim, but just the Jaegers, and Star Wars, and Star Wars, and just other kind of pop culture, geeky type character cars from the Hot Wheels line. So seems like like a lot of properties that I collect, but there are people who are really interested in just about everything. You know, I've collected the Transformers Prime figures at one time. And I was starting to get into NECA, but then I just kind of backed away from that, other than the Pacific Rim figures. So, you know, I think having a focus is a good thing. I think it kind of helps you just, you know, really avoid buying everything and everything out there. But some people like that, you know, but that's on them. I mean, that's everyone is a little different, but I think it's important to just kind of have an idea of what you like. And, you know, there's some other things that I'm interested in, but I don't collect only because I'm afraid of what it'll do to my wallet, which I'll get to in a second. So definitely, you know, think about what you like. As Andrew mentioned in his video, is there a certain show, a certain comic book, a certain movie that you like? More than likely has some sort of collectible or action figure that goes along with it. You can, you know, go there. The other thing I think you should start off, besides knowing what you want to collect, is really you need to think about budget. You know, that's something that should be first thing on your mind before you start collecting is how much am I going to put aside for figures? How much am I going to set aside for my hobby? And because it can get crazy, you don't want to end up, you know, when you're older and you have debt and a house payment and a car payment, you really want to think about, and you know, or you're married, you also really want to think about how much can I spend? You know, how much will be allowed in the family budget. You know, when you're younger and you're just working, there really isn't much to think about. You know, you're pretty much working for your interests. But as you get older, that's just something you want to really think about, because you don't want to get into debt or, you know, become too addicted where, you know, you don't have enough money to buy food or whatever. But that's just something really important I think people need to think about. I don't think anyone's mentioned that. You know, you want to buy, of course, as much as you'd like, but then you got to really think about how much can I really afford, and that's the big thing. That's something to really take into consideration. Once you kind of have an idea of how much you're going to spend, then you got to think about, you know, how often do I want to go? Just whenever. I pretty much buy whenever. You know, if there's a big convention, then I'll save up money because I want to make sure I have enough money. But for the most part, you know, every payday, I'll spend some of my cash to buy some things. And, you know, I do put things on credit, but I have a plan. You know, I'm going to pay this over the next month, put this much every 2 weeks, whatever. It really helps keep things under control, and my wife's happy, so I'm happy. Next, do you collectors? You know, some collectors are mint on card, other collectors are loose collectors. So mint on card means you keep them in the packaging. You don't want to take them out. You don't. You know, you might even make display cases to keep the card in there, to keep the figure inside. And, you know, hang them up on your wall. Other people like to open everything and don't mind buying things loose. I'm more of a loose collector. Some people do both. I do have some things mint on card, but I really want to open and display my figures. That's important for me as a collector. So, just something to keep in mind. Am I going to be a loose collector or mint on card or both? And there are people who do both. They buy two of everything, and it's just like, I can't afford to do that. I mean, or the space. So speaking of space, that brings me to my next tip, which I think is number 4. To display or to not display. Me personally, I feel that a collection needs to be displayed. I'm very proud of my media room where I have pretty much 90% of my collection. And it's just great when people come over, friends and family, and they come up, you know, they see what I have, and just for them to be able to compliment, and it feels good, and it just feels great to, you know, this is mine, this is what I've been collecting over the last few years, and to display it with pride and to keep it clean and nicely organized. I think that's important. I think that if you're going to collect, you need to be aware of, you know, of where am I going to display my figures, how am I going to display, how much am I going to put into shelves, where in my house, where in my apartment, where am I going to display my items, and how am I going to organize it. You know, some people do just buy and stick in bins and stick in their garage, stick in storage, but, you know, I do have a few things in storage, not much, but I don't know, I just feel like a collection needs to be displayed, and if you're going to get into collecting, I think you should have something. Maybe if you do decide, you know, if you just don't have the space, finding a small space in your room, in your house, somewhere where you can display some of your favorite items, I think that's cool too. Just be proud of what you have and display it, because part of the fun of collecting action figures is being able to admire your collection, or grab a figure and mess with it, pose with it, you know, take pictures of it, you know, and just have fun with your collection. I think that's important. Number 6, I think, do your research. You know, someone mentioned this, that, you know, if I want let's say a Rey action figure, I don't have one, or a Luke, you know, there are going to be various action figures throughout the years that have, you know, shown Luke in his pilot, or pilot tape, his X-Wing pilot. There have been various versions, you know, throughout the last 30 years since the toy line began. And you want to do your research. You want to find the best figure that fits your needs. Do you want something that has a great sculpt? Do you want something that has great articulation? Something that has both paint apps and whatnot? Sorry about that. I ran out of space on my camera here. So as I was saying, definitely do your research. Look for the best figure out there. Look for options. You're going to see various characters done in various lines throughout the years, especially when it comes to older lines like Star Wars. And you want to find the best option out there, and the most, not the cheapest, but the most affordable. You know, there might be a figure that you really want that's really pricey, but there might be a version of that character that was released at a different time in a different line that may be more affordable, and it's a good alternative. So definitely go out there on websites online. Tend to be a great resource, you know, if they're credible. And then of course, you know, if you know people who are into the same franchise that you are, they may have some advice as to what you can get out there. Next, Speaking of finding the best deals, look for the best deals. As when you start collecting, you don't want to rush out and buy everything that you see at crazy prices. Be patient. I mean, it can be a pain not finding the figure that you want. You're toy hunting, you're at store to store, you're not finding anything. That going online and getting a figure for twice the price, if not more, can become very tempting. And in certain cases, you might have to pay those crazy prices because you're never going to find it in stores. I've been in that situation, but in most situations, if I'm patient enough, I'm able to find the figure that I want at retail, or if not at retail, at a convention or different, like a flea market for much cheaper. Scalpers do try to take advantage. Scalpers are people who are going to buy something at retail or cheaper and sell it for a lot more money, and you don't want to fall into that trap. So you just got to look for those deals. You go to conventions, go to flea markets, go to comic book shops. Be savvy when it comes to eBay and bidding. You can always do trading. You just got to be careful with that because you might get someone who won't trade, who will say they'll trade with you but never send you anything. Like Facebook forums and trading groups online. So, but you want more for your money, Like I said, there are exceptions. Sometimes you may have to pay good money for something that you really want. And in certain cases, it's worth it. But you definitely want to look for the best deals. And then finally, share your passion. One of the reasons I collect, one of the reasons I started to collect was to get to meet people in my area or online who love to collect, who have the same passion I do. And I've been able to meet a lot of great people here on YouTube by watching videos and commenting videos and making videos. Places like Instagram, where I'm able to post pictures of my collection and share my passion with other people. I've been able to meet people on Facebook, and message back and forth and just have a good old time. I've met people at conventions. There's people I've met online who I've met in person that I see on a regular basis. And, I've gotten to hang out with people at conventions like Star Wars Celebration. And it's just been great to share my passion with people who enjoy the same things I do. And I think that's really important when you get a chance to do that, just to really, get involved. And I think when you're collecting, you definitely want to show people what you have and share the interest and just meet friends and whatnot. I think it's a big part of becoming an action figure collector or any kind of collectible. But anyway, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm going to tag 3 people now and would love to see your response from anyone in general, or if you can't, leave some comments in the below. So I'm going to tag The Forces with Jesse. I was going to tag you. MG Villain. And Darth Deuces. I've seen you comment on some of these vids, and I want to see what you have to say, buddy. So there you guys have it. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And until next time, may the Force be with you.